All right. Good morning, everybody. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. It is fantasy football Sunday, week 4. If you're new to the channel, like I always say at the top of the program, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button as well, so you're made aware when new streams and new videos are added. So I jumped on a little bit early today. I know it was set for 11 o'clock. I apologize if you wind up coming in late, or if you watch this on replay, because there's a lot of stuff to get to today. And, like I said, I'm just sharing out the stream. That's what I'm typing right now on X. So there's a lot to get to right now, which is why I wanted to jump on early. Of course, the biggest, story so far today is that Derek Carr is, in fact, for the New Orleans Saints. Again, there was reports all throughout the morning about, who is going to start. Was it going to be Jameis Winston? Was it going to be, Derek Carr? But it looks like Derek Carr is going to be the one, that ultimately starts today. And this is, really puzzling to me, because I think Derek Carr is very inhibited today. I think that it's probably not the smartest idea to put him out there, with this injury. Jameis Winston certainly is capable. We all know about his turnover issues. And as a Michael Thomas owner, I wanted to see Winston in there because I thought Winston would be, certainly a better option for him, because their game seems to jive a little better than Winston and Olave. As we saw when Winston came in last week, he had, a quick 5 or 6 hookups with Michael Thomas the rest of the way. But, but again, it looks like it's going to be Derek Carr. And as the Jaguars, all right, we're gonna get to that in a second. I mean, the Falcons are just embarrassing themselves this morning. But anyway, so Derek Carr, that's the big story so far this morning in terms of injuries. Now, let's get to this Falcons-Jaguars game. Of course, they were in London today. The Jags just went up 17-0. Darius Williams intercepted Desmond Ridder and took it back 61 yards. Listen, Taylor Heinicke might even come in on the next series. Like, they have to do something. Like, this is so pathetic. It's absolutely insane. Right now, Bijan Robinson has 5 carries for 14 yards. Now, he did nothing last week. Now, defenses are selling out to stop Robinson, okay? So nothing is happening on the running game either. Tyler Algier, 4 carries for 8 yards. In the receiving game, how about this? Robinson, 3 catches for 21 yards. So at least in a PPR league, he's getting some points. But Drake London, nothing. Kyle Pitts, nothing. And the Jags are up 17-0 with 4 minutes to go in the half. What a shitstorm for the Atlanta Falcons and Drake London owners, Kyle Pitts owners. Like, it is as bad as it could possibly be. And Taylor Heinicke, who, has shown, at least when he was with the Commanders, he could move the ball a little bit, right? I mean, he kind of comes in. He's got a lot of energy. He slings it down the field. If you're a Drake London or a Kyle Pitts owner, you have to almost pray to the fantasy gods that he comes in there, because it is really, really bad. Like, that, it's just as bad as it gets. Jermaine Ridley's playing right now, and he has a touchdown. So you're going to have to go Tank Dell. And, speaking of Calvin Ridley, I said he was to the moon today. He's only caught 1 pass, but it was for a 30-yard touchdown. So, and Christian Kirk, again, with Zay Jones out, 3 catches for 43 yards. Trevor Lawrence, the touchdown pass, 10 of 13. He's also run for 29 yards. So a decent comeback game so far there. Listen, and that's okay, Jermaine. Listen, this is bad. And the Falcons, they have no choice. They have to put in Heinicke. There's just no other way. And the shame of it all is that this team has talent. Like, they're pretty much the NFC version of the Jets, in that they have talent everywhere else, but they don't have talent at the quarterback position. So, again, you can't play any of these guys, unless it's Bijan Robinson. And like I said, he's not even doing anything running the football. He's averaging 2.8 today. And Algier's gotten 4 carries. So, this is just not good. This is as bad as it can get. So more, if you're going to go more in your flex, I mean, that is doable today. I mean, this is last stand for me for the Chicago Bears in this offense. Saints defense was dropped. Listen, I've been riding the Saints defense all year, and they've been, excuse me, I'm a little congested this morning. They've been balling out pretty much every week. So I'm going to ride with the Saints again today. So, but, again, this game is just a joke. And I know that Disney Plus, I don't know if you guys have kids, but they're doing a nice job with this Toy Story like simulation on the game. So I was checking it out with one of my kids. It's pretty cool the way that they're able to do that. So you know, and the fact that it's streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus, I think is complete bullshit. And it just goes to show you how Roger Goodell's really just, you know, more or less interested in the money than anything else. And this is what happened in Major League Baseball too, putting Friday games on you know, the streaming services and DTR. So, okay, so we have breaking news. Deshaun Watson is not playing today, guys. All right, so DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is starting. So if you're in a DFS, Thompson-Robinson, who runs a lot as a quarterback, is a starting option. So breaking news, here we go. Deshaun Watson out today. Derek Carr is playing. Jimmy Garoppolo out today. So quarterbacks are dropping left and right, and they're thinking of going with the kid over Brian Hoyer. Aiden O'Connell. Have no clue about Aiden O'Connell if he's going to be able to do this today. But now, wow, I mean, it's coming in fast and furious. So Cleveland Browns, Amari Cooper, you're going to have to downgrade him, right? He's been playing at a wide receiver 1 level with Deshaun Watson. Now you got to downgrade him to a low 2, right? You know, everybody. David Njoku, who's supposedly playing after he burned himself with a fire pit. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He's a clear bench option for me. Elijah Moore is a bench option. You know, Jerome Ford, I mean, he's been playing like shit other than that one big run that he had. Just not a good situation there now for Cleveland. And let me get my schedule out here. So the Cleveland Browns going against the Ravens. And I gave you guys that pick a couple of days ago. I took the Ravens with the points. I think it was 2.5. So that is a quick pivot. And listen, the Raiders, Chargers. So if you're a Justin Herbert owner, Keenan Allen owner, the numbers may not flow today because especially if Aiden O'Connell starts and he flops, this game could be over quickly. And then they're going to go into run mode. Joshua Kelly, you know, I'll pray for you if you decide to go back to the well a third time at this guy. You know, it could get ugly there. So Deshaun Watson unable to go today. Unbelievable quarterback issues all over the place in the NFL today. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is news too, guys. This just came out now too. Holy crap. So Zeke Elliott is expected to get the starter reps today against the Cowboys. Now, this could just be, okay, he's facing his former team, but he's been really good so far this season. And Ramondre Stevenson, maybe so this is bad news if you're a Ramondre Stevenson, or especially if Zeke Elliott balls out today against Dallas and he's got the motivation behind his back. If you're a Ramondre Stevenson owner, you got to be a little bit nervous. So I know for me now, I'm going to go quickly take a look to see where Elliott is available because, you know, this is worth it's certainly worth adding him at this point. Yeah, I mean, listen, if dropping London, Pitts absolutely should stay dropped. You know, I think London. All right, you know, if somebody dropped him in my league, I would pick him up and put him on the bench in the hopes that Taylor Heineke would wind up, you know, becoming the guy at some point. Let me just pick up Elliott because he's available in one of my leagues. Yeah, guys, make the move. He's going to get starter reps today. So what does that mean? Is it a 60-40 split over Ramondre Stevenson? Like, I can't even believe that. I'm going to drop Tank Bigsby, who I picked up with the handcuff running back strategy. I know it's still early in that game. So I just did that. So do a quick search on Ezekiel Elliott. You know, Dell or Gavin. I'm starting Tank Dell, Jermaine. So get Tank Dell in there. Yeah, Desmond Ridder is completely, you know, dog shit. There's just no other way to describe him. And this is something we talked about in the summer. I went back all the way to the summer and told you guys this is going to be what undermines the Atlanta Falcons is the quarterback play. Desmond Ridder wasn't even good at Cincinnati, right? And how are you, if you're the Falcons front office, how do you decide to go into the season with supreme talent all over this roster, right? And go in with a quarterback that sucks as much as Desmond Ridder? Like, that's just malpractice if you're a GM, right? I mean, it's just that bad. Should I sit Ramondre? No, I wouldn't sit him. I would have him as a flex, but this is not good, Lex. I mean, damn, there's a lot of stuff. It is a wild start already today in fantasy. I know for myself, I'm 3-0 in one league. I'm 2-1 in the other. In the league that I'm 2-1 in, I only have a slight projected lead because I had Aaron freaking Jones only give me 2+ points on that snap count bullshit last week. So Breece Hall or Roschon Johnson, man, I don't know. Man, those are all flawed guys. I would probably go Roschon because Breece Hall, the Jets just can't get out of their own way right now. Falcons GM should be fired. They could have easily signed the line. Yeah, listen, they could have signed a lot of guys, LJ. I mean, there's just no point on that to even attempt this. And the Falcons' false start. I mean, like, come on, they are so bad, it's ridiculous. And they're winning just enough games that Caleb Williams, who's going to be the number 1 pick, is not going to be an option for them. Heinicke has to start second half. Yes, I really do believe that. Like, if they don't move the ball right now in their 2nd and 11 at the 2-minute warning, if they don't move anything leading into the half here, they don't get anything out of this drive, I would not shock me in the least if Taylor Heinicke is out there. And I think Taylor Heinicke can give them a spark. I really do believe that. And I thought Heinicke would have been a perfect backup for the Jets as well, or Jacoby Brissett, either one. But this is bad. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is the running back position as a whole. So Saquon Barkley is doubtful. Austin Ekeler is doubtful. They're not playing. And here's what's interesting. Saquon Barkley met with the media the other day, and he spoke about how himself, and he referenced Austin Ekeler, that they have no security beyond this year. So their injuries that they both are dealing with, high ankle sprains, maybe that, and he didn't say it in so many words, but he hinted that, listen, this could be why we're taking a little bit of extra time. We don't have any security. The team, for lack of a better term, screwed both of them over. Now, I know it's business, and that's what happens. They have no security beyond this year. So Austin Ekeler, maybe he could have played today, right? But he's being extra cautious. He has a possible payday coming to him at the end of the season. So did he take himself out for this week? Maybe. We don't know. There is a bye next week. Who made that decision? Was it Ekeler that said to the Chargers, listen, I can't go? Or is it the Chargers saying we're going to be proactive here? Certainly Josh Kelly has done nothing in Eckler's place to make the Chargers feel comfortable about not having Ekeler. And Barkley himself, he's missed a lot of time. He's pissed off at the Giants organization. Did that make him sit out? And also Jonathan Taylor, no more trade talks, all right? That came out this morning. They're not talking about trading him now. They've opened up a 21-day window to get him ready to go. I don't think he's coming back week 5. It sounds like they need to ramp him up conditioning-wise, get him, fully immersed back onto the team, and then put him out there. So, could a trade materialize at some point? It could. Zach Moss owners, you might have another week or two, of usefulness, and he's been really good. But I think when Jonathan Taylor comes back, it's still his job. Right? I mean, he's got too much cred built up for it not to be. What's your opinion on Gibbs' usage? I know Monty's balling out. Listen, it's not going to change, Jermaine. I'm sorry to say. And this is something I talked about at the end of the summer when the tea leaves started to show themselves that the Lions were going to heavily rely on David Montgomery. You don't hand a guy a 3-year contract at the money that they handed Montgomery to have a 50-50 split. He's the guy. He's excellent in pass pro. He could catch the ball, unlike Jamal Williams. He's doing a great job. He's scoring touchdowns, right? He's scored in every game. He's going to lead the NFL, I think, in touchdowns on the ground. It's working for them, so why change? If you're a Jahmyr Gibbs owner, he is a strict flex now going forward. All right, Bijan Robinson, another catch. So at least if you're a Bijan Robinson owner, you're getting PPR points. He's got 18 yards on the ground. He's got 4 catches, so 6.6. 7.6. So he's over 8 points right now. But still, that's not great. Zeke over Amadre. Yes. So Zeke over Amadre today, it could be a goodwill gesture, right? For Bill Belichick. I mean, God, and Ritter just absolutely sucks. Missed Matt Collins on a pass here. Talking about Elliott. Yes, I think that there's a revenge factor that Belichick respects. And players love Belichick for this, right? So, wow, we have a Kyle Pitts sighting, 8-yard catch. So at least Kyle Pitts is on the board. But listen, Zeke was good last week, right? I mean, he did the job. Like I said, Belichick knows the storyline coming in, and he's got a motivated player. And, he looks like he's got some juice left in the legs. So to me, that is surprising, though, that he's getting the start. All right, and Bijan Robinson stuffed. I mean, like, unbelievable. They're going to have to punt this ball. They're at the 31-yard line. They're going to have to punt this ball. Unbelievable. All right, as far as the weather. So I didn't do the weather video because there's no weather issues today, guys. Everything is either clear or indoors today. Yeah, literally, I don't see anything in terms of even, like, showers or anything like that. So we're all clear to go there. Picked up Zeke last night. Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to have running backs littering on your bench because, as we've already seen, there's been so many injuries like there always is every season. Jacksonville calls a timeout. They're going to get the ball back with a minute to go. Just dropped Cincy D for Saints. Also waived Drake London for so Josh Downs, I'm glad you brought this up. So Josh Downs quietly is really picking up a high number of targets, right? I threw this out there when I was talking about Josh Downs the other day. He reminds me of Jarvis Landry, right? Remember Jarvis Landry? He wasn't a big yardage guy. He was a short to intermediate target. Lots of catches with Miami, less so in Cleveland, but he was a consistent move the chains guy. Not a big touchdown guy either. He was a 4 to 6 touchdown guy every year. But in PPR leagues, he was a wide receiver 2 with Miami, wide receiver 3 with the Cleveland Browns. And that's what Josh Downs looks like to me. So I picked him up where he was available. All right, so Addison or Myers, I'm definitely going Addison, especially with no Jimmy Garoppolo. So I don't know if you guys caught that, if you're just coming into the stream now. I know I started early. It was supposed to be 11 o'clock, but there was just so much to get to. Jimmy Garoppolo, not playing. Deshaun Watson, not playing. So Ezekiel Elliott, starting for the New England Patriots over Ramondre Stevenson. So these are all things that we need to pick up on. Christian Kirk already had 4 catches today, guys, for 55 yards. How good has he been when it looked really bad week 1? Yeah, Richardson's going to be good. I think Richardson has exceeded expectations for sure. Thoughts on Pierce playing or subbing Khalil Herbert? I would give Roschon Johnson a shot today. You know, I mean, the Steelers' run defense is good. I think Tank Dell is a really good play again today. All right, Christian Kirk, another target for Trevor Lawrence, incomplete. So, again, as long as Zay Jones is out, guys, Christian Kirk is balling. He really is. Now, Zay Jones is expected to come back next week. So if you're a Christian Kirk owner, he could be a sweetener that you sell high on, right? But here's the thing, too. Calvin Ridley, who I said was going to ball out this week, he has 1 target, and it just happened to go for a 30-yard touchdown. So, you know, it hasn't really, this is the 3rd straight week now. We're not getting a lot of targets for Calvin Ridley, which, you know, is a little bit concerning for me. All right. So I'm going to stay on with you guys until 11:30 and another Christian Kirk catch 16 yards. So Christian Kirk is already up to 71 yards on 6 catches. He is absolutely killing it today. So what is that? 13.1 fantasy points in PPR. And Trevor Lawrence is having a good day too. So I was not concerned about Trevor Lawrence. You know, I know there was a lot of Charles, we did talk about that already, that he's out for today. Deshaun Watson. And listen, Watson had said to the media, the Cleveland media, that he was going to play on Friday. But he literally threw 1 pass in practice and then he took himself out. So that was the red flag among all red flags, that he was not going to be able to go. And another target for Christian Kirk. This one falls incomplete. So 2nd and 10, Jacksonville 42. Now, the other thing today, so I'm really interested today. This is last stand time for the Minnesota Vikings. So the Vikings are at the Panthers. They have to win this game. If they somehow lose this game, there is already growing talk that they're just going to tear it down. Kirk Cousins, maybe even Justin Jefferson. Somebody mentioned that the other day in the stream, and I didn't hear that, but then I looked into it, and there are at least some whispers about Justin Jefferson, right? Do they not give him the big contract? And Lawrence takes a sack. So here's what's interesting. Kirk Cousins, could he get traded? Yes, he's going to be a free agent, right? If they're 0-4 after today, and this was a flawed team that you know, coming into the season, even last year, they gave up more points than they scored. The Giants beat them on the road. Giants on the road beat the Vikings in the playoffs. This was a paper tiger Vikings team. Now, Kirk Cousins, can he be made available? Yes, but this is the delicate thing that the Vikings have to be aware of. If Cousins gets traded, it's going to set off, and we're at the half now, it's going to set off Justin Jefferson, all right? He's that classic diva receiver, right? Think back to like Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco, even way before that, Keyshawn Johnson, just give me the damn ball. These guys that don't get and Garrett Wilson too, recently has been that way as well. Justin Jefferson will lose his shit if Kirk Cousins gets traded. It's just absolutely going to happen. So if the Vikings are going to do this and trade Kirk Cousins, they're going to have to figure out how to pacify Justin Jefferson. Do they give him a new contract? Are they going to tear it down? They just brought in Cam Akers. Is that the guy they're going to buy low on? I know Alexander Mattison got a small deal to come back to the team. I think it was a 2-year deal. I'm curious to see what happens there. But there's going to be big names. If the Giants lose to the Seahawks on Monday night, then staring at Miami and Buffalo, they could be 1-5. Do they listen on Saquon Barkley? I've spoken about this a number of times already. I think that is a possibility as well, that they could, listen on Barkley and maybe get something for him, especially, he's been injured. He doesn't have a contract for next year. He's subtly not popping off, but he's sending messages in the media like the other day talking about, maybe he's taking some extra time because he doesn't have a contract for next year. This was the potential problem bringing him back on a 1-year deal after some acrimonious contract discussions. Looking for a running back to stash off the waiver wire. Listen, the usual suspects, right? Zach Charbonnet, if he's available. Tank Bigsby, if he's available. I got one for you. Rico Dowdle, right? The Dallas Cowboys. He's been actually good on a per snap basis. So if something were to happen to Tony Pollard, who, Mike McCarthy did say he's getting a little bit too much work for their liking, 20 plus carries for a smaller back. It's a little worrisome going forward. So Dowdle might be getting more work. And if anything were to happen to Tony Pollard, Dowdle would be a must start running back too. All right, 14-team half PPR, Breece Hall, Najee, Roschon, Moore, 2 Chicago Bears, Dotson, Elijah Moore, Rice need 1 flex. So 1 flex, I guess DJ Moore, because they're going to need him today. I would go with DJ Moore, but it is not. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell, I'm with you on that one, Jermaine. Do the Baltimore Ravens make a play for Jonathan Taylor? I mean, that's possible. They need somebody. They don't, Justice Hill has not gotten the job done. Gus Edwards is a good back, but he's a limited back. He doesn't catch the football. Melvin Gordon is completely shot. He's just a name at this point. So I think that's the team, the Baltimore Ravens, who have designs on going to the playoffs. They've been a perennial playoff contender under John Harbaugh. I think that's a team that could get involved with Jonathan Taylor, with a Saquon Barkley as well. How good would that offense look with Saquon Barkley and Baltimore Ravens, right? They would really, having a dual threat like Barkley is, they wouldn't have to mess with Justice Hill or Gus Edwards. They could just use Barkley liberally. They need to bench Ritter. Yeah, listen, I don't know how many of you guys are watching this game. I didn't see who got the ball first, so I'm really curious to see if Taylor Heineke does wind up getting the nod here in the second half. He should. They don't have any reason not to. All right. After a discussion with team officials, they decided Deshaun Watson will not be active today. Dorian Thompson-Robinson will start. So listen, if you're in a DFS, like I said, that is a good play because he runs the ball well. But you do have to downgrade some of these. You have to downgrade Amari Cooper. You have to downgrade, David Njoku. All right, Jack's got the ball first. All right, so here we go. So we're going to see second half. And like I said, this ESPN Plus thing is complete bullshit. It really is. Like, to shut out, because I know for myself, I'm tired of all of these streaming services, right? I mean, Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, Amazon, all these things. It's just too much. And like baseball, they're selling out to these services at the expense of the fan, right? I think Atlanta deferred. Yeah. All right. Atlanta's miserable. Last week, I'll be starting that kicker. You can't start any of these guys. You could start Bijan Robinson, right? Just because the volume is there. He's getting a lot of receptions. But it's just so ugly. So Miles, I don't think, he's expected to play Miles Sanders. But then again, they had said that Jameis Winston was starting, Deshaun Watson was expected. So we're, at 11:30, we'll get the we'll get the information. Good morning, Mark. How are you? Yeah, so for those who are just coming in, I know I said it for 11 o'clock. I apologize. It was just way too much going on. So that's why I wanted to get on there. Hunt to the moon. I don't know, to the moon, but this is an opportunity for Jerome Ford to kind of reassert himself as the guy, because, he really hasn't been that good. Should I drop Chuba for Kelly or Breida? No, I don't think you have to do that. I don't like either one of those guys. The Giants are just not going to run the football, really. That's what's going to happen today. And we need Darren Waller to get going. I mean, shit, enough with this. Like, get him the ball. This is why you brought him in. I'd be better if I started Monty in 2 leagues. And I know, dude, I started Aaron Jones in 1 league. My other league, I had Montgomery on the bench. And to look at 34 points, I mean, I was just sick to my stomach. Now, luckily, my opponent had Jahmyr Gibbs and Aaron Jones. So I'm expected to win that matchup to go 4-0. But in my work league, that I'm 2-1, I started Aaron Jones and he gave me 2 points. So, that was, and I think the majority of the people benched, David Montgomery, because coming off the thigh injury, he's not exciting. I mean, he's a boring player for sure. Prince, I think it's going to give Ford quite a bit of work. I think him and Hunt are going to get quite a bit of work. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is a good athlete, but I don't know how good of a passer he is. So they're going to have to rely on the run. Do you see Chuba taking over that backfield? Sanders contract probably. No, I don't see that happening. He might push for more of a split workload, but I don't see that happening. They gave too much money to Miles Sanders. Aaron Jones, I think he'll be fine next week. He's got 10 days to work his way back. Josh Jacobs will get a lot of work, especially if they go with Aiden O'Connell. But does Josh Jacobs respond, right? He's been so bad. But again, this was an easy call to fade him this year. 370 touch season, no training camp. There was no reason to even bother with him unless he really fell in drafts. Sean, I agree. It didn't look like he was playing. Not liking Pierce' playoff schedule. Yeah, that is a rough playoff schedule. It's been really bad for Dameon Pierce. But CJ Stroud has shown, even with them stacking the box, he's making plays in the passing game. Start Chuba Hubbard or Zeke or Breece. I'm in a pickle. Man, I might start Zeke because, again, they're giving him a lot of work. Excuse me, guys, for one second. I just got to blow my nose. All right, sorry about that. Didn't want to do that on the stream. Battling a little bit of a cold. It's not COVID. I know last year, you remember that? I had COVID for when I was trying to do the streams and I looked like dog shit. Just a little bit of a cold. Luckily, thank God I was negative for COVID. I tested 3 times because I don't want to go through that again. I don't know if anybody here has had COVID, but that wasn't fun when I had that last September. And I remember I pushed through on the streams and I looked like shit. I went back and watched some of those. I was like, oh my God, it was bad. So I'm starting Zeke. He's going to get starter reps. And I think, listen, he might get the goal line work. Why are they starting Zeke? All right, so Zeke has been good, right? He ran the ball well last week. I think he had over 80 yards. And Stevenson's just been okay, right? But he's receiving back. Now, when they signed Zeke, I wasn't as worried about that as I was with Dalvin Cook signing with the Jets, in terms of taking Breece Hall's value away. It looks like Elliott is going to take more value away from Elliott's taking more value away from Ramondre Stevenson than I think we all anticipated. You know what I mean? So, all right, I'm not watching the game now, guys. If you hear anything about Taylor Heineke, let me know. I'm gonna look this up now because usually some of these guys, and by the way, are we all done with this over this Taylor Swift thing? I mean, come on, enough. I can't deal with this right now. I don't see anything yet about him starting. They might give him one drive here. Yeah, Watson is out. Downgrade for Amari Cooper. What time does the final team start report come? That comes out at 11:30 for the 1:00 games. I'm streaming off YouTube using a live sports app. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not watching it right now. And I refuse to pay the ESPN Plus. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. All right, we have our first super chat. Mark Engelson, $2. Thielen, Michael Thomas, Pacheco, Godwin in the flex today. That's a tough one. It really is. That's a really tough one. I think all these guys are viable. I wouldn't go Godwin. Pacheco against the Jets looks good to me because The Chiefs should be up big. I don't know how good Derek Carr is going to be, so Thomas makes me nervous. If Jameis Winston was playing, I would definitely go Michael Thomas. I will go Pacheco because he should be running the ball quite a bit in the second half. Thielen, with Bryce Young back, I'm not sure that's very appetizing to me. So I'm going to go Pacheco, slight lean over Michael Thomas. And thank you for the super chat, Mark. But it's not a hearty endorsement. It's very close between Thomas and Pacheco. You know what? If it's a PPR league, Mark, I would go Thomas. If it's a standard, I would go Pacheco. That's my answer on that. They changed Kelsey pick to Taylor Swift on Sleeper. Yeah, I mean, like, enough. I know Taylor Swift. She's hot. Like, she's a big, obviously a superstar singer, whatnot. Kudos to Travis Kelsey. God bless him. No doubt about it. Every guy that's in here would love to be in his shoes. But, I don't need to keep seeing her, on the screen 8,050 times. Thielen back in Minnesota. Yeah, I know it's a revenge game. That's true. He's been playing well. And you know what? Minnesota is not great defensively. You know what, Mark? I'm going to change my mind on that. You convinced me. So I would go with Thielen. You're right. The revenge angle is there. I still think Pacheco was strong, but if it's a PPR league, I would go Thielen. All right. If it's standard, I'm still going Pacheco. Pitts got me 1.8 points. Yeah, great. I mean, come on, Kyle Pitts. My God. And you know what? And thank you for the super chat, Mark. It's a real waste, man. It really is. It's so frustrating to see this. And even Breece Hall with the Jets, too. It's just another waste. Who should I pick up for Watson? Mac Jones, Sam Howell, or Josh Dobbs? Yikes. Mac Jones has been playing pretty good. Let me see here. Mac Jones. I mean, the Patriots, the Cowboys, not bad. Sam Howell's coming off an awful game. He's got the Eagles, so definitely not him. I would say Mac Jones. That's my answer to that. Definitely not Howell taking on the Eagles. All right, we have a $5 super chat. Mr. Kojak, Puka or Tank Dell, Jacobs or Shane. I'm going to go, I'm probably going to go as Shane. That was the other report that came out today. They're going to be using him more than we expect. So I'm going to go with Shane, and I'm going to go Puka, slight over Tank Dell. Thank you for that super chat. And we have a $4.99 super chat. You guys are very, very generous. Arthur Myers Show. Thank you, Arthur. Lamar or Richardson, half PPR flex. Tank Dell, Shane, Damian Pierce, Michael Thomas, DJ Moore. I'm going to have to go Tank Dell. He's been so good the last 2 weeks that he deserves the benefit of the doubt. And it's not a bad matchup. The Steelers are good stopping the run. So definitely no to Damian Pierce. And I think Tank Dell is the play there. As far as Lamar and Richardson, that's a little bit more difficult to come up with the answer on that one. I would go Lamar Jackson on that one. Lamar has a history of playing well against Cleveland. So I'm going to go Lamar Jackson on that one over Richardson, because Richardson has gotten knocked out in both of his games so far. So Arthur, I think he's a little more risky. I like the advantage. I think Baltimore is the clear favorite coming into this game. I like Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to go Lamar on that one. And thank you, Arthur. I really appreciate that. Pitts for Fields to Atlanta or Pitts to Cowboys. Dallas is intriguing. Do they trade him already though? I mean, I wouldn't. I would think that would be just. And you're welcome, Pathé. I appreciate that. I think it would be just a joke to trade this guy. He's a generational talent at tight end. That to trade him already would just be insulting to the organization. I think they bench Ritter. All right, so here we go. So Taylor Heineke then would be in. Like I said, I'm not watching it. So is Heineke coming out, guys? So I don't have it on right now. So let me know. Back in Atlanta is Taylor Heineke, Mark. So, he should be out there. So Tyler Algier gets the first carry too. That's interesting. I have the stream thing on, the Yahoo thing on. So I'm probably a couple of seconds. All right. So Ritter is still out there. All right. Come on, man. What do we do? I mean, Arthur Smith, my God, it just doesn't make any sense. The Jets and the Falcons right now are the two most pathetic teams offensively. Pittsburgh, not far behind either. And I thought the Colts would be like that. I was totally wrong about that. Like I said, Richardson's been really good, and that has propped up everybody. Michael Pittman, especially if you drafted Michael Pittman, salute, because I told you all to stay away from him, and he's been really good so far. All right, so Bijan Robinson doing his thing, 38-yard run. So he's up to 56 yards on the ground. Arthur and DC both rocking. Yeah. I mean, they're moving the ball. So hopefully they get something out of this. And if you're a Jaguars fan, if you're a Trevor Lawrence owner, you want the Falcons to score here because then it keeps the game competitive, right? That's one of those things in fantasy where, you don't want the game to ever become a blowout because you want your main guys to continue out on the field like the Chiefs today against the Jets. So we got to be a little leery about that, that the Jets are going to be so bad that Pat Mahomes takes a seat in the fourth quarter. Like Josh Allen taking a seat against the Commanders, last week, which almost cost me my matchup because I lost points there. All right, Bijan Robinson getting a lot of work now. All right, so that as far as take care of that, then I'm going to jump off, and of course we'll do the wrap up stream tonight after the afternoon game. So usually it comes out to around 7:30 that Ritter can't connect with Kyle Pitts. Usually it's around 7:30 Eastern time where the wrap-up stream takes place, where we all bask in the glory of winning or, cry together that we lost in our matchup. I've played 6 matchups. I've lost 1 so far. So so far so good. Listen, if they score here, they're not going to bench him. Kamara full workload today. I don't know if it's a full workload his first game back, but he's going to get a decent amount. The problem is Taysom Hill, I think, will continue to get the goal line work. And listen, they have Kendre Miller. I think they want to see what they have there. So Atlanta's in the red zone now. At least Ritter is completing some throws. Kadero Hodge. I mean, Drake London still doesn't have a catch, right, guys? Is this still possible? Yeah. Oh, no, he does. He's got 1 for 7 yards on 4 targets. And Kyle Pitts 1 for 8 yards. You just can't make this stuff up. You just can't make this stuff up. A guy in Cincinnati who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn accuracy-wise, and he's now the starting quarterback. So, this is what we're dealing with. And Kamara still has it. Yeah, listen, Kamara, I think he's about 80% of what he used to be. All right, he showed slippage last year and even the year before. The average has come down, right? The yards per carry average has come down. There's no doubt about it. This is not Alvin Kamara the first 4 years in the league where he was a stud mid-first round pick, PPR gem, right? He's 80% of what he used to be. And even Saquon Barkley, I think, is like 85% of what he used to be. I think all the injuries Saquon Barkley has had in his career, especially the ACL injury, have sapped some of the speed, right? So, Winston wants to dump it off all day. Yeah, so Winston's not playing, Mark. They are going with Derek Carr. And that's why, to me, if Winston was there, I was feeling much more confident about Michael Thomas. Now, concerned because, I think Derek Carr has more of a thing going with Chris Olave. I just don't understand the Saints. Like, do they really, Jameis Winston's got ability. I know he turns the ball over a lot, but they'd rather go with a compromised Derek Carr, who, to be fair, really hasn't been very good over a backup who's fully healthy, can move the football. It doesn't make any sense. And the Saints, they've been disappointing for sure. So, we'll just have to see. But, and how about the Arizona Cardinals? So the Arizona Cardinals, who we all thought was going to be the worst team in the NFL, they're just a few plays away from being 3-0. All right, so there you go, guys. Drake London. So we have a Drake London sighting. If you were hoping Desmond Ritter gets benched today, now it's definitely not going to happen. All right, so Drake London, 15-yard touchdown. So, this game is like the epitome of what a standard league is, right? So you have Calvin Ridley with 1 catch for 30 yards, but it was a touchdown. And now you have Drake London, 2 catches for 22 yards and a score. So that's how this goes. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10.2 points in PPR for Drake London right now. He's scoring. Listen, it's never an issue with talent for Drake London. Like, it's not. Like, if you put Drake London on 25 of the 32 NFL teams, he would be, at worst, a low-end wide receiver 2. Like, he's a high-end wide receiver 2 talent. Like, if you put him on the Los Angeles Chargers, he would be a top end wide receiver too. Like he's that good, right? Great route runner, good separation, good hands. He's athletic. He's not a burner, but he can do everything else well. So Drake London to me is a guy who's being neutered in this offense, but he scores a touchdown just like Calvin Ridley, who's got one catch for 30 yards. And, he's got 10 points just based on one catch. So, that's how it goes in fantasy. If you're a Travis Etienne owner, 2 catches so far, 21 yards on the ground. So not a great outing so far. Tank Bigsby's gotten 3 carries. So, Tank Bigsby, who I think is a top handcuff running back, he's gotten 3 carries so far in this game. And now, like I said, the Jaguars, it's going to keep this game competitive and, force them to continue to operate their offense the way they have from the start. Trevor Lawrence, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 13 of 18 passing, 29 yards on the ground. So, hey, Desmond Ridder, he's completing 61% of his throws, which is not good, but, and he's got the 2 interceptions today, but he threw the touchdown. So they're definitely not going to pull him now. If you really wanted to see him bench, the Falcons needed to not score on that drive. So, that's the end of that. So, as far as the 1:00 games and this injury report, I'm definitely curious to see what happens with Miles Sanders. I'm playing against Miles Sanders today in one of my leagues. So I'm curious to see. I gave you guys my survivor pick, which is the Philadelphia Eagles, not playing around with the Eagles. I gave you guys my NFL picks this week. So I like the Saints defense again, powerhouse. My NFL picks this week, just to rehash. I took the Ravens getting 3 from the Browns. I took the Commanders getting 8.5 from the Eagles. Bengals giving 2.5 to the Titans. The Giants giving 1 to the Seahawks. And I had the Jaguars giving 3 to the Falcons. So came in with a 500 record on the pick so far this year. So the Falcons, who I gave the 3 to Atlanta, so hopefully we don't get a frustrating push and they can cover to get us off to a winning start so far. It's hard to play in front of the English. They like football. I mean, they seem like the crowd seems like they're into it, but, I'm sure it's like if we were watching cricket here in the United States, we don't know all the rules. So it probably would be a little difficult to follow. Chargers, Patriots, Texans, or Bengals defense. Chargers defense is just not any good. I definitely am not going to Patriots. Texans against the Steelers. That's not bad. I'm going Bengals against the Titans. And Calvin Ridley with an 8-yard catch. So I'm going with the Bengals because I think that the Titans are just terrible. And that's another team that I think is on the cusp of just tearing it all apart because they've been that bad. I know that they pushed their chips to the middle of the table, bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, hoping for one more go at it with Derrick Henry. Treylon Burks is out today. This is just not a good team. Ryan Tannehill's been the worst quarterback in the NFL outside of Zach Wilson, right? That's how bad he's been. And Daniel Jones hasn't been very good either for the New York Giants. So ETN. So the Jaguars are really coming out firing the ball. They're not running the ball much. ETN with a reception there. So the PPR points have been pretty good so far for the Jags. Who do I start? Najee, Connor, Gibson, or a Chan? Not Gibson, definitely not Najee. I would go Connor. Listen, James Conner has gotten the points every week. So I don't think James Conner, I think he's an automatic guy every week just because the volume is going to be there, right? And he played well against what was a really good Dallas defense coming into that game last week. So that's my answer. James Conner, who I myself am starting as well. So, I'm literally putting my money where my mouth is in terms of starting him today. So, all right, so we're just about 15 minutes away from that injury report. And like I said, after that report comes out, I'm going to jump out of here. And then, like I said, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification button because of the instant injury analysis throughout the day. Hopefully our players make it through. To always, every time that injury bug hits, you just pray it's not one of your guys. Maybe the Vikings should try to put a defense on the field. Yeah, I know the offense looks great, Charles, and it's just that defense is just constantly inept every week. Najee or Swift or Devin, a Shane. I got to go Swift against the Commanders. Commanders defense doesn't scare anybody. Najee Harris is just not an option for me until he shows any sort of sign that he's, not the player that has been so far this year, which is only a 5-point producer in fantasy. I think 5 points is what he's pretty much put up every week, which is horrendous. Like, it's just so bad. The guy just dropped Bengals D for Chargers D in one of my leagues. The guy doesn't have a clue. Chargers are horrible. Yeah, Chargers defense is not much better. So there's Luke Farrell guys catching some passes there for Trevor Lawrence. So Lawrence is up to 146 passing yards. He's only got the 1 touchdown. Hopefully he gets on the board again if you're a Trevor Lawrence owner. But, he hasn't been that great either. Let's be fair. And I was very big on Trevor Lawrence coming into the season. Swift or Kenneth Swift. Kenneth Gainwell, listen, he got Wally pipped, right? Anybody who knows baseball knows Wally Pipp, right? The saying there. He got injured and allowed Swift to come in and literally run wild for 2 weeks in a row, 100 plus yards, 170 something that first game. Etienne gets stuffed. So Etienne only 24 rushing yards so far. Hasn't been the greatest day for Travis Etienne either. But Gainwell is going to stay involved. They like Gainwell. It's going to be about a 70-30 split. So if you're in a deeper league, Gainwell could, work as a flex. But that's as far as it goes. DeAndre Swift, strong running back too, until that injury hits. So Gainwell absolutely should be on because we know Swift cannot make it through an entire season without getting hurt. 7-2 Yahoo Baseball Championship. Yeah, fantasy baseball. I used to love fantasy baseball. That was the first sport I played in fantasy. When it first came out when I was in college, I was like, wow, this is really cool, right? But fantasy baseball kind of lost me over the years. It's just too much every day having to set a lineup. Choose 2 out of these 3. Start Kenneth, Alexander, Kamara. Kenneth and Kamara, 100%. Justice Hill or Kelly. Man, Kelly's been so bad. I'd have to go Justice Hill by default. All right, so the Jags, they're starting to stall a little bit here. They're going to go for it on 4th down if they don't get it on 3rd. Justice Hill, I would definitely play over Josh Kelly. I cannot deal with him for a 3rd week in a row, putting up, single-digit fantasy points. That was just horrible. Akers is going to see some action. Madison, he fumbled last week. All right, 4th and 11 now for the Jags. So this drive stalls. So again, Lawrence needs that 2nd touchdown today to kind of quiet the criticism that he just hasn't been that good. So 10, 11, 12. So he's got 12, 13. He's got about 15 fantasy points right now, Trevor Lawrence, which, your quarterback, you want 20 plus, right? So I think he'll get there. A really good game for a quarterback in fantasy is like 23 plus, in my opinion. 20 plus you can live with. So Akers, I think, will get some work today. But, curious move bringing him in. I know Madison hasn't been very good, and he's got a small deal. And listen, they really bought low on Akers. They literally gave up nothing. They swapped 6th-round picks. How bad did the Rams want to get rid of him? Ridley, Kirk, wide receiver 1. He's got 2 catches today and a touchdown. Lex, it hasn't been great. Again, 3rd week in a row. There's still time in this game. Kirk, when Zay Jones is out, I've been saying this constantly. I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but he's a high-end wide receiver too. Godwin, D-Hop, Madison, or Sanders. I got to go with Godwin. I can't play any Titan. With Akers there, we don't know about Madison, and Sanders is injured. So does he play today? I don't know, but I think the Bucs are going to have to throw it a lot. Yeah, Ingram too. Only 3 catches for 11 yards. So I didn't mention Ingram, but you know what? Ingram's been around 9 to 10 fantasy points every week, so you can almost forgive that a little bit. Kyle Pitts still with the 1 catch for 8 yards. Oh my God. It just doesn't get any better. Kyle Pitts, just drop him, right? If they do turn to Heineke, I think Pitts actually would be able to get enough targets to be viable again. But Heineke also is not calling the plays, and they're still going to run the ball like crazy. It's just so bad. I just can't even believe this. I mean, I can believe it. We've been seeing it. We've been seeing it for how long now? Just a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. At least if you're a Drake London owner, he got into the end zone. Devin or Sanders or Gabe Davis, not Gabe Davis. I'm going to go Achane. They said they're going to get him a lot of work today. All right. Jeff Wilson's still out. Salvin Ahmed, I don't think he's going to be a factor anymore. They know they can't overwork Raheem Mostert, right? This is going to be a very, very high-scoring game. So all Dolphins, all Bills, all hands on deck today. It's going to be a very, very high-scoring game. So I think you put in all of these guys. Buffalo defense was really good last week. It was the Commanders. I think Tua Tagovailoa is just that good. Best, most accurate quarterback since Kurt Warner, in my opinion. He's got the goods, man. I mean, he does the job every week. Elijah Moore at Tutu. I'm going to go Tutu Atwell, who quietly has been really good himself. I'm not going to go Elijah Moore with Dorian Thompson-Robinson in there. Play the guy who took Ford after I lost Chubb. I hope Kamara's listen, Kamara is going to get the work. I think he's going to get about 70% of the work today. Now, does he get the goal line work? I don't think so. I think Taysom Hill and maybe even Kendre Miller will get that work ahead of him. They're not gonna overwork Kamara because they know he's missed games each of the last 3 seasons. Oh no, Karma. All right, no, that's nothing. Dolphins starting safety, so that we don't have to worry about that. Although that would make Josh Allen stay a little bit easier. Karma's okay, Mark. I see what you're saying. Josh Kelly or Zeke. Zeke. Listen, it seems like Zeke is to the moon because they're going to start him against Dallas, and he's going to play pissed off, right? So I think that Zeke is going to get 15 carries today. And I should have done it, damn it. The prop this week for Elliott was 24 rushing yards. He's going to go. Why don't you guys check that out right now, actually? I think it was 24 rushing yards. I don't know if they adjusted it now on DraftKings, but that is a prop bet you want to put some chunk of change on because I think Elliott's probably about 50 yards. Even if it was a 40-yard prop, I would go over that for sure. I mean, the motivation might even be starting, going to get starters reps. So you guys need to hit that prop hard. All right, 7 minutes until the injury report comes out. Again, hit that notification button, hit the like button as well. Would you start Amari or Brandon Cooks with D-Wop being out? I'm going to still go with Amari Cooper. All right, because they're probably going to do a bunch of short to intermediate stuff with him. Brandon Cooks still takes a firm backseat to CeeDee Lamb and then to Jake Ferguson around the goal line, right? So I think there's more of a path for Amari Cooper to still generate those points. Bijan Robinson is so good. Like, he is just, like, it's scary. He's scary good, Bijan Robinson. And he's still going to be the #1 pick next year in all of fantasy. Would you start Achane even though my team has Waddle and Hill? That's hard, Sam. I mean, that Buffalo defense is legit. I would try to do better. You got to start Waddle and Hill. I tell you what, if Waddle has a big game today, I would try to sell him so you break up that twosome. Because here's the problem, Sam. If Tua gets hurt, you're screwed on both ends on that. I mean, I know Mike White has shown some ability in the past, but I'm not going to think that Hill and Waddle can both stay afloat with Mike White. Look, another 70 for Finns. I think maybe 30 if they're lucky. Zeke or Brandon Cooks. I'm going to go Zeke. I think Zeke, like I said, is going to get the work. So Bijan Robinson right now is up to 71 yards on the ground. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12.6 as Ritter misses Kyle Pitts. How many targets does Kyle Pitts have, for Christ's sake? 3 targets. All right. I mean, Jesus, 3 targets. My God, it's just so bad. Just help me set up 10 different. Listen, I don't have all the answers, Mark, but I try my best, right? So, I myself only have 2 rosters. I only have 2 teams just because I like less complication in my life, especially watching football on Sunday. It makes rooting for certain guys easier. Is Jonnu to have the tight end in Atlanta? I can't even believe that we have to ask that question, Mark. You don't want anybody in Atlanta, so Jonnu Smith, No. And Bijan Robinson rips off a 21-yard gain. There is no answer for Bijan Robinson. Like, if they had even a semblance of a passing game, Bijan Robinson would be 150 yards rushing every game. Like, facts. Like, that's just how good he is. And he's one of those guys, like Christian McCaffrey, like Austin Eckler, when you play them in fantasy, you're just holding your breath. You don't even want to watch the box score because they can wreck your fantasy week alone. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill, I've always said, I haven't seen anybody wreck a game more than Tyreek Hill since Randy Moss. Say Flowers or Palmer. I'm going to go Flowers. Palmer, I'm not sure how much they're going to have to throw it with Aiden O'Connell in there. And so Bijan Robinson up to 92 yards now. AP and Barry Sanders, yes. Yeah, you're right. That's a really good comparison, Jermaine, is that he's got the power of Adrian Peterson and the smooth moves of Barry Sanders. Anybody who saw Barry Sanders, it was crazy how he could stop and start on a dime and just be gone in a flash. I almost want to compare Bijan. I've done this before in the past on here, LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian Tomlinson reminds me of Bijan Robinson. Or rather, Bijan Robinson reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson, who was just a massive stud of a player. Morning, Justin. How are you? Waller finally shown. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a double owner on Waller, so I'm with you on that. Justin, if you just came in, we've been on for about almost an hour, so make sure you go back and watch the beginning because I came on early. Zeke line is at 30, so they raised it. All right, so 35.5, I still would hit the over on that. Jordan Mason worth a stash? I guess so. Anybody who's behind McCaffrey who has a pronounced injury history is worth a stash. And you're welcome, Mark. I'm always here answering questions. You could always post under videos too, and I'll get back to you. Bijan is cooking now for sure. 5:12 to go in the third. It's starting to get a little bit late for the respective receivers on both sides, Jaguars and Falcons, to accumulate some points. 3 minutes to go before the injury report comes out. Let's get through that, and then I'm out of here. And gonna rest up for the next hour and a half before the game start at 1:00. I know for me, I'm stressing in one of my leagues today, my work league, because I had to deal with that Aaron Jones fiasco. I also have Amon-Ra, who slightly beat his projection. He was projected for 15-something. He got 16-something. Am I crazy for starting Tank Dell over Evans? No, you're not. And Evans never plays well against Lattimore. So if you're a Godwin owner, this is a good spot to play him. Flex one, Josh Downs, Palmer, or Pierce. Not Pierce. I'm going to have to go Palmer slightly over Downs, but Downs has been good. People that dropped Philly and Buffalo defenses already, that's just stupid. That's just so asinine, people dropping those defenses. They're both, Buffalo coming off of that Cincinnati game and people are dropping them. That just doesn't make any sense. No sense at all. 2 minutes to go before the injury report. Voice starting to go a little bit. Yeah, I've been battling a cold. Like I said, luckily, no COVID. All right, Kyle Pitts, second catch, 13 yards. So, Ritter looks like he's somewhat getting into a groove. He's going to need a second touchdown pass to salvage his day. Do I bench Evans for Sutton or Dell? Dell. I would definitely play Dell. I'm playing him in one of my leagues. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, no big deal. Just a little nagging upper respiratory, negative for COVID. So won't have to repeat that fiasco of last year when I was sick as a dog on here. Still start Tank. And I sounded horrible too. Like I was trying to hide it from all you guys and I just couldn't. So I had to fess up that, I was battling it. I was stuck in my basement for a week. I was like a prisoner. Luckily nobody else in my family got it. Anybody that's had COVID, when you're like a prisoner in your basement, it starts to play with your head after a while. You guys actually kept me sane during that. So I really appreciate that. Tank Dell over DJ. Yes. Tank Dell should be started every week. All right. Does Roschon Johnson ever take over? Yes, I think this is the week. This is the week they have to show something offensively, Chicago. So I think Roschon Johnson's going to get that opportunity. So, man, Tyler Algier, 4-yard loss. What game are you anxious to watch? I'm anxious to watch the Philly game because I'm playing against Jalen Hurts. And I have Jalen Hurts as well. In one league, I have A.J. Brown in the other, but my opponent has Jalen Hurts. And that's the one that I'm hit or miss about whether I can win today. So I'm a little worried about that. All right, Sanders or Judy. I'm going to go Sanders if he plays. We're going to find out in a second. $1.99 super chat from Derek. Just full flex PPR. Pick one. Thielen, Pickens, or Sutton. I'm gonna have to go Thielen with the revenge angle against Minnesota. I'm not a big fan of anybody on Denver, so that's who I would go with. Derek, thank you for that super chat. And Thielen's been hot. Looking for running back to stash. Yeah, I told you. Charbonnet is good. Rico Dowdle is somebody I definitely would stash for sure. All right, so the injury report's starting to come in now. All right, so all right, so Paulson. All right, we don't. So the Saints are in fact going with Derek Carr. Justin Simmons is officially active. Nobody cares. All right, Jake Luton. I don't see anything yet on Sanders. They are playing at 1 o'clock, right? So, all right, so the Bucs, nothing there. Mims or Downs? I would say Downs. Where do you go for the report? I just look on X because usually X has it. So Deshaun Watson officially inactive, so he is out. No issue there. So we know. So Deshaun Watson already, coming off such a good game too. All right. Nothing for the Vikings that we have to worry about. So far it's just minor news. Nothing. I'm still waiting on Carolina. All right. Let's see. I'm just looking for Miles Sanders. Once we get Miles Sanders squared away, then we'll be good. Green is expected to play. So he's expected to play. Chase Claypool, a healthy scratch. So Chase Claypool, a healthy scratch. I don't see anything on Sanders, guys. Do we see anything on Miles Sanders? That is a 1 o'clock game, correct? Chase Claypool, Donta Foreman, a healthy scratch again. Nathan Peterman. Okay. Nothing on Debo, too. Hold on a second. Let me see. So the Bills. All right. So, yeah, that's 1 o'clock. San Francisco's at 4, so we don't have to worry about Debo. I imagine we would have found out already if Sanders was out. So let me keep refreshing. All right. Terran Armstead, Eli Apple, a scratch. Nobody cares. Okay, Sanders, still no. I'm still showing that he's expected to play. Ravens inactives. Odell is out. Rashad Bateman is out. Man, both of those guys just cannot get out of their own way. All right, so we're not worried about Debo until 4 o'clock. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on Miles Sanders. Expected to start today, no limitations. All right, well, they're saying he's expected to start today with no limitations. Eagles inactive. Quez Watkins is out. Albert Ogunleye is making his debut. All right. So, like I said, guys, I think that Miles Sanders is starting then. If we haven't gotten anything on Miles Sanders, then I would suggest he's starting. So, all right. Nobody else has that either. All right. Zeke it is. Yeah. So, Travis Etienne, Lawrence, Evan Engram has got a catch. The Jaguars are starting to move the ball again. Just checking in on this game again. Etienne still only 27 yards on 9 carries. Not the best day for Etienne. Kyle Pitts still with 2 for 21. Christian Kirk, 6 for 71. Calvin Ridley, 2 for 38. All right. Braden Smith, yes. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to end it here. Enjoy watching the football today. Like I said, I didn't see anything on Miles Sanders, so I assume he's ready to go. I will be back with all the instant injury analysis, so hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for all the super chats today. We will chat later during the live stream to wrap everything up. Have a great day today, guys. Good luck on your matchups. I will talk with all of you soon.